In the chaotic days of the Second World War, one man's story unfolds with a depth of suffering and hope unimaginable to many. This is the remarkable journey of Tsutomu Yamaguchi, a man who survived not just one, but two of the most devastating events in history, the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. August 6, 1945 began like any other day for Tsutomu Yamaguchi. A diligent businessman, he had traveled to Hiroshima from his hometown of Nagasaki for work. Hiroshima was a city bustling with life and industry, a testament to Japan's resilience in wartime. The city was alive with activity as people went about their daily lives. But on that morning, the city's vibrant energy was about to be eclipsed by a horror that defies imagination. As Tsutomu Yamaguchi walked through Hiroshima, he had no idea that he was about to experience an event that would forever alter his world. Yamaguchi was discussing business plans with a client when the sky was suddenly filled with an intense, blinding flash. The sky suddenly lit up with an unimaginable flash of white, a blinding brilliance that seemed to momentarily erase everything. In an instant, the world around him erupted in a searing wave of heat and destruction. Yamaguchi and his client were thrown to the ground by the shockwave. In that fraction of a second, the world around him was transformed into a searing inferno. The intense heat and blinding light were followed by a deafening roar. The air was filled with a choking dust and debris as the very fabric of Hiroshima was torn apart. Yamaguchi, dazed and severely burned, crawled through the wreckage. Yamaguchi was thrown into a nightmare. The once familiar streets of Hiroshima were transformed into a scene of utter devastation. Buildings that once stood tall were now reduced to piles of rubble, fires burned fiercely, and the sky was choked with thick black smoke. The screams of the injured and dying filled the air, mingling with the crackle of flames. In the midst of this inferno, Tsutomu Yamaguchi struggled to comprehend the magnitude of what had just occurred. As he stumbled through the debris, Yamaguchi's mind raced with thoughts of his family back in Nagasaki. Desperation fueled his will to survive, and he knew he had to make it back to them. Though his wounds were severe, his skin blistered and peeling and his strength waning, his determination remained unshaken. In the face of such overwhelming devastation, he began his grueling journey home. The road was strewn with the debris of a city laid waste, and every step he took was a battle against both physical agony and the emotional weight of what he had witnessed. His injuries were severe, blisters and burns covered his body, and he was weakened from the trauma of the blast. Yet, the thought of his loved ones kept him moving. Through the haze of pain and fatigue, he pushed forward, navigating through a landscape scarred by the aftermath of the bomb. Every step was a battle against physical agony and emotional despair, but his determination to reunite with his loved ones pushed him forward. After several grueling days of travel, Yamaguchi finally reached Nagasaki. Yet, his brief moment of relief was overshadowed by an impending dread. The very city he sought to refuge in was now a target itself. Only 3 days after the Hiroshima bombing, on August 9th, Nagasaki was struck by the second atomic bomb. The horror of Hiroshima was about to be repeated in the place Yamaguchi called home. The explosion was catastrophic. Nagasaki, which had become a symbol of hope and refuge for Yamaguchi, was now engulfed in flames and destruction. The city was enveloped in a blinding flash, followed by a violent shockwave that tore through everything in its path. Once again, Yamaguchi was in the heart of the disaster. In Nagasaki, the scene was eerily similar to what he had witnessed in Hiroshima. The sky was filled with a blinding flash, followed by a shockwave that ravaged the city. The shockwave threw Yamaguchi across the ground, and the intense heat burned through his already damaged skin. The familiar surroundings of Nagasaki were now a charred wasteland, echoing the devastation he had witnessed in Hiroshima. Yamaguchi suffered severe pain and agony as his body had just been brutally assaulted once again. His suffering was compounded by the trauma of witnessing his hometown reduced to ruins. At the time of the Nagasaki bombing, Yamaguchi was not with his family but at his home in the city. He was caught in the blast while trying to recover from his injuries and reunite with his family. Despite the overwhelming pain, he managed to find his family, who were miraculously alive but deeply scarred by the event. Their reunion was both a moment of profound relief and an acknowledgement of the unimaginable trauma they had all endured. The family's survival, despite the devastation around them, was a bittersweet affirmation of resilience and hope. In the years following the bombings, Yamaguchi's life took on new meaning. He became a dedicated advocate for peace, sharing his story and warning of the dire consequences of nuclear warfare. His experiences were not just personal struggles, but became a crucial part of a global dialogue on disarmament. Yamaguchi dedicated his life to ensuring that the lessons from his unimaginable suffering would contribute to a safer world. His unwavering commitment to this mission lasted until his passing in 2010 from cancer at the age of 93. His story serves as a powerful reminder of resilience and the importance of learning from history to build a better future. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating historical tales. Until next time, keep exploring the past.